afternoon and welcome to CEC Gurukul lecture. In continuation with the series on Indian sociological tradition, in this lecture I am going to talk about Radhakumar Mukherjee and his work on social ecology. So, Radhakumar Mukherjee is one of the founding figure of Indian sociology. He laid the foundation of the Department of Sociology at Lucknow University along with D.P. Mukherjee and G.S. Ghurye. He is renowned, kind of considered as contributing to the development of social ecology. Rather, he is considered as one of the first social scientists to bring in the systematic study of social ecology. So, in his book Regional Sociology, he explains the scope of human ecology as synoptic study of the balance of plant, animal and human communities, which are systems of correlated working parts in the organization of the region. So, when we look into this definition very carefully, we see that there are two or three elements in this definition. One, he is trying to understand the relation between the three world domain, that is the plant, animal and human beings, and secondly that there is a kind of a response from region. So, you have to kind of understand the linkage between the animal and the plant world with the human life in terms of the region, and that is very kind of significant in the development of the approach of social ecology. So, as I have already said that he is one of the first Indian scholar to highlight the link between social and biophysical world. So, earlier this is again kind of a contribution to his approach. He was in favor of interdisciplinary. So, earlier the biophysical world would be studied by the botanist or the biological sciences, and social by sociologist and the social scientist. R.K. Mukherjee advocated linking the two, and that would help to develop and kind of a systematic understanding of the environment and its influence on culture. His study of social ecology presents interesting contrast between Occident and Oriental culture. So, in social sciences, we know that there is a kind of a hierarchy in terms of the Occident and Oriental, and most of the studies were in kind of from an Orientalist perspective or from a Western society perspective to look at the Eastern, that is the Occident, and kind of therefore understand in terms of what was happening in the Western society was used as a scale to understand the level of progress and development. So, he rejects this and he kinds of tries to evolve a discipline which could be enough kind of in itself sufficient to understand the Occident in itself and not with reference to the Oriental culture. He rejected the ecological theories that looked at ecological order as a natural, non-cultural level of human relations. Prior to R.K. Mukherjee, all theories which were trying to understand ecology was kind of put into the box where it was only looking into the environment, it was only looking into the biological world, and it was kind of considered as completely separate or completely opposite to something which was considered as cultural. So, that distinction or that opposition between the biology and cultural was done away by R.K. Mukherjee. He emphasized that ecological organization could not be understood without reference to culture. So, his entire stress was to understand ecology in relation to culture. So, it was that ecology or the environment around us is impacted by culture, and in turn culture gets impacted by the environment. So, it was very important to bring in a kind of interlinkages between the two. So, when we try to understand R.K. Mukherjee's approach to social ecology, it is very important to try to understand what is social ecology, because if we see this time kind of a combined in terms of ecology, which means the environment, and social is in terms of the norms, value, cultural elements. So, if we combine the two, it implies an understanding of the relationship between environment, the interdependence of peoples, collectives and institutions. So, the environment in itself cannot be understood only by reference to the plants and animal, but or to the kind of only to the natural world. But the non-natural element becomes very significant to kind of have a holistic understanding. The ecology of population not only stresses the importance of the intimate ecological interrelation of man, but its applied aspect also. So, when we try to understand that kind of understanding one particular population, what is the ecology, what is the characteristic of it, we can't just do it by trying to understanding it in terms of the fauna and flora. What is important is to understand the interrelation between man and others, human being, as well as the interrelation in terms of how the population is dependent on the environment for livelihood and for other parts. And then again this would be kind of a regional base, because from region to region the interrelation or the linkage between human beings and the environment would differ, and that becomes very significant or that becomes an important subject of study in sociology. So, social ecology has been kind of developed as a discipline by R.K. Mukherjee, and as in keeping in mind his interdisciplinary approach, he kind of argues or is in favor of bringing all the disciplines or kind of having the cooperation of number of multiple of sciences. So, only kind of relying on economics or relying on history or sociology cannot be sufficient. It has to be taken it in terms of knowledge from the biological science, from the natural sciences as well as the social sciences. So, in that sense, according to R.K. Mukherjee, social ecology is thus comprehensive science of the balance of the human species in a natural area, studying the physical and biotic factor which affects the pressure and distribution of diverse species of plants and animal, including human association. So, when we try to understand the ecology around us, we cannot, as repeatedly has been said, we cannot just rely on the physical attributes of the plants and animals or the what are the kind of the characteristic in the physical world. It is very important to understand how the physical world or the biological world impacts the socio-economic condition of the population inhabited in that particular ecology. So, that interlinkages or interaction is very important. So, it kind of actually recognizes 4 fundamental ecological process, and that's distribution, invasion, succession, mutual accommodation in the ecological complex. So, when we look into these, the distribution becomes very important because it is a part of the entire fact of modes of production, where whatever has been produced has to be distributed within the population. Invasion, in the sense that in the earlier society it was on the basis of the ecology or the region, the quality features of the region, that the area was invaded or it was kind of captured or it becomes very significant, and that is again kind of creating that the ecology around us has to be sustainable, has to be kind of beneficial for human beings in order to kind of be taken up as a space for further building of association and kind of setting up a habitat. So, the geographers, here he will tell us how the sociology or how different disciplines would contribute to the understanding of social ecology. So, as he has already said that it is kind of bringing in from multiple discipline, we see how each of these disciplines contributes to the understanding of ecology around us. So, the geographer studies the physical factor which governs the distribution of population on the world map for a long time. Economist investigates the cause of localization of the large scale industries and the effect of modern forms of transportation and communication on population in special regions and zone. So, we know the economist would be looking into the how the livelihood has been affected, how the setting of industry has either kind of enabled the increase of per capita income or it has improved the lifestyle and so on and so forth. But what does the social ecologist do? the social ecologists, they study the social composition and characteristics of population in different zone of human settlement. But now what does it mean by social composition? By social composition, R.K. Mukherjee would refer to the values, social values, to the culture, to the kind of both material and non-material culture that would be characteristic of particular ecological zone in a particular region. So, when we look into his development of the discipline of social ecology, he kind of considered it to be very close to sociology. Rather, according to Mukherjee, social ecology plays a dual role in relation to sociology. So, he is kind of considering social ecology almost as a kind of a subdiscipline of sociology. And here he say that when we look into the relation between social ecology and sociology, it can be seen from two perspectives. One is a broader view, where we would look into sociology as one part. And in sociology, we also have this whole idea of part and whole, which a structural functionalist would kind of advocate, where each institutions have part and the parts play a function for the maintenance of the whole. So, in that context, social ecology would be a part of sociology and kind of have a part whole relation. So, then in that context, social ecology includes the study of all aspects of environment, and therefore, there is a kind of a triad, that is the environment, the functions that it performs, and how it functions influences the survival of organism. So, the triad is between environment, functions and organism. Then the second view is a narrower view, where sociology is the social ecology is used for studying of quantifiable variables. So, here if we see it comes very close to economics, where it could be using fact of regional environment and occupation as quantifying social relations. So, both the perspective are there in order to kind of see how it becomes significant or has a very close relation to sociology. Mukherjee argued that ecological relation among human beings are largely similar with those among lower organisms. But in case of human beings, cultural norms have a very important role. So, human ecology highlights this fact, and this is very important aspect, or maybe the most important contribution that R.K. Mukherjee does, because when we look into the ecology as an habitat of the plants and animals, which is also kind of considered as a lower species, or human beings are considered as a higher species, and what is the distinction between the plant animal world and human being is obviously culture. So, without looking into the cultural aspect, studying of ecology would be kind of incomplete, and therefore, the interrelation between the ecology and cultural norms becomes very significant for R.K. Mukherjee. So, in the formation of an ecological unit, like region, social habits, values and traditions becomes very important. So, this is what is important in his theory of social ecology, that when we look into the ecological unit, we just don't look into the it as a habitat of kind of animals and plants and without any culture, or without any kind of norms and values. It is very important that one looks into the kind of significance of the values, which would be very important in terms of the development of the habitat. As a people lives in an area, it develops a symbiotic relation with ecology or environment of that area. And this is something that we have already read, that wherever human settlements started were areas where there was a kind of lot of water and there was lot of the ecology was good. So, human life would not have gone and set up in places where it was survival would be difficult, because the ecology was not good, so, or the environment was not developed. So, it has to have a two-way relation, that if the human settlement had to be developed, and if human beings were to survive, it had to take care of the environment around them. And so, it kind of also, when we look in social ecology and we look into his understanding of region and regionalism, Mukherjee was advocating or stressing on regional development, and the regional development becomes very significant because if we were to talk about policies or program, we see the area can be developed, or whether it could be industrialized, or whether any kind of industries could be set up, would depend upon the ecology, and therefore the understanding or the linkage between human beings and the ecology becomes significant even for understanding progress and development. And that is what he would be trying to do when he was trying to understand the rural economy. He stood for balance between economic growth and ecological fitness, and this again becomes very significant contribution of R.K. Mukherjee, because with the entire process of industrialization and the stress on economic growth through capitalism, what actually was kind of neglected was the ecology, where there was a kind of development at the cost of ecological progress. So this is something which R.K. Mukherjee was not very comfortable. He said there should be economic growth, but at the same time ecological fitness was required. So you cannot kind of let economic growth grow at the cost of ecological fitness, and that would kind of lead to degradation of the ecological balance. So when he was looking into economic growth and in terms of industrialization or setting up a factory, at the same time there was a kind of advocacy for traditional crafts and skills or certain occupation that would protect the ecology or that would lead to ecological fitness. So weaving, engraving, certain economic activities of a particular region which could not damage the environment, or which could kind of maintain the balance between human beings and the environment around it. So when we try to understand R.K. Mukherjee's social ecology, it's very important to understand his idea of region and regionalism, because the entire theory of social ecology develops from region and regionalism. So in the 1920s, Radhakumar Mukherjee proposed region as a concept that would allow a synthesis of ecology and sociology. So because most of the time, because of specialization, because of departmentalization, region was supposed to be a subject of ecology and something that sociology had nothing to do with. Now when he brings in ecology and sociology being kind of contributing to the growth of social ecology, region becomes the binding factor. So here he writes that it can be any human group must be considered in relation not merely to the temperature, humidity, sunshine, attitude, etc., but also to the indirect effects, the interwoven chain of biotic community to which it is inextricably linked, the plants that it cultivates, the animal it breeds, and even the insect which are indigenous to the region. So the entire idea of regional development would be in terms of keeping in mind both the livelihood pattern, the cultural values of the population, as well as the attribute of the environment. So and therefore the both kind of has to be linked in order to understand regional development. The region is at once an ecological aggregation of person, an economic framework, and a cultural order. So when we look into this, he brings in both. He is trying to give us an economic understanding of region for understanding progress and development, but then you do not negate the cultural factor. For economic progress and development, the values have very significant. So you have to stress on the regional value, which has to be kind of safeguarded or protected even for economic growth. So according to Mukherjee, the most important contribution of ecology is the idea of region as intricate network of interrelations. So the region is not only from a discourse perspective or from a kind of knowledge perspective, bringing in interrelation, that it is bringing in geography, it's bringing in economy, it's bringing in sociology, but it is also in terms of the ground reality, that is in terms of the habitant of the population interrelated. So we have to try to understand region even in kind of in the policy framework of progress and development. The region exhibits a complex pattern of adaptation between environmental, factors, plants, animal and human society. So, this is the interdisciplinary that R.K. Mukherjee is stressing on. According to Radha Kumar Mukherjee, the natural regions are found to be nearly geographical, but also social and cultural entities. This is the contribution that brings us we have to kind of applaud R.K. Mukherjee, where most of the time in terms of understanding, region was considered to be something which we would look in terms of, as I have already said, in terms of the climate, the vegetation, the soil conditions and so on and so forth. But for R.K. Mukherjee, region would be completely in terms of understanding its values, what was the cultural value of the population that inhabited. And this also helps us to understand when we look into how societies have progressed in terms of the settlements, of how they have moved from one place to the other in search of better livelihood, in search of better economy, keeping in mind their cultural perspective. So, the principle of balance of species living in the same region also forms a valuable contribution to the study of sociology. So, sociology becomes kind of more broader in terms of not only understanding what's so called social, but it extends to understanding what is kind of considered to be a geographical space, economic perspective and an ecological perspective. So, that broadens the area of sociological research. So, the natural area has become the unit of consideration in sociology of social phenomena in terms of spatial and temporal distribution of the activities. In his comprehensive treatise on regional sociology, Mukherjee studied the impress of natural region on work, economy, property structure, culture, character and diet. So, he brings in all, he is not only kind of looking into only culture or only in terms of the functions, but he is also looking into the economy, he is looking into the property, to the extent that he is looking into the diet pattern. And the diet pattern in a particular region would be completely dependent on the ecology, and that is why he is kind of giving us an interdisciplinary and a holistic perspective. So, in this framework, differences and similarity between different societies could often be explained with reference to ecological factor. So, that is regional development, that how do we kind of, one region is different from the other, or why does one region economically prospers compared to the other? The answer is in terms of the differences, not only in the ecology, but also in terms of the value. So, not only in terms of how much of per capita income you can grow, but also in terms of how you could have certain social values that would be in terms of protecting the environment or safeguarding the environment. So, thus the community oriented culture of China and India. So, here he is giving us a comparative understanding of China in India, centered on the village, were interpreted as an adaptive response to rice cultivation, wherein the activities of field preparation, transplanting, irrigation, etc., all required a great deal of collective action. So, again when we look into India, and in terms of kind of India being described as a land of villages, and this can be explained because of the particular cultivation of a particular crop that was being cultivated in the area where it required group work. So, the community had to be together, everybody had to contribute, had to go to the field and do the stages of work that was required for cultivation of rice, and therefore, India was kind of interpreted, or village became symbolic of India. R.K. Mukherjee stressed on locating the specificity of culture in understanding the dialectic between human and their environment. So, that is kind of trying to understand his understanding of region and regionalism. When we try to understand the ecological zone, and that is the geological, geographical and biological factors work together to produce an ecological zone. So, again prior to R.K. Mukherjee, ecological zone would have been explained only with reference to the biology, or only to reference to kind of the physical world. But here he brings in the different discipline in order to evolve an understanding of ecological zone. In its turn, ecology is considered by social, economic and political factor. So, he is trying to give us again here the understanding that ecological zone is a biological, geographical and a geological zone, in which we have to understand the relation between social, economic and political factor in order to understand the ecological zone. Now, when we look into ecological zone, what is very important in social ecology is the ecological balance. And ecological balance is the balance between the environment and the human development progress. So, it is not mechanical carving out a territory and settling people thereon. So, it is kind of not something which can be done in a very quantitative manner in terms of deciding a territory and giving it to the population and allowing it. From a policy perspective, it requires a lot of understanding of the norms, the values, and also in terms of understanding how the ecological balance can be maintained. So, ecological balance is not achieved by mechanical kind of carving out of and settling the people. So, when we look into social ecology, R.K. Mukherjee has given threefold task. One is to trace the adaptation of interacting human beings and of interrelated human institution to the region, to investigate the special food and relation in which human beings and activities are organized, and number 3, to measure the balance and mutual pressure of humans along with other living in non-living communities in the region. So, these are the tasks that he thinks that the discipline of social ecology should kind of actually follow. So, R.K. Mukherjee strongly advocated for conservation of forest and protection of ecological balance. So, the ecological balance, that is the balance between plants, animal and human being, can get disbalanced if the human beings kind of take progress more than the cost of protecting the environment, and that is what has happened over the years of capitalist development. From ecological point of view, he upheld the idea on the process of urbanization and all, but not at the cost of ecological balance. So, urban development at the expense of the countryside should be kept at check, agriculture should be diversified and industries should be decentralized. By doing that, he was kind of giving us a policy perspective for maintaining ecological balance in society. And if we look into the contribution that he has done after so many 3 or 4 decades, we are in the process of facing so much of environmental degradation and ecological imbalance. So, these theories kind of contribute from a policy paradigm in terms of evolving a policy for protecting the ecology, and that would in a way lead to sustainable development of human beings. So, this is the theory of R.K. Mukherjee on social ecology. With this, I come to an end of the lecture. Thank you.